Welcome to Day 4 on the Trail. We have 4 readings today from Luke chapter 1, verses 57 through 80, Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 through 6:8, Psalms 6 and 7, and the Wisdom of Sirach chapter 3, verses 1 through 31. In Genesis today, we find the introduction to the Great Flood. And what is especially interesting in this section is we hear that God repents leading up to the flood itself. The Hebrew word that is used here is nacham, and it carries a range of meanings, including to be sorry, repent, or to change one's mind. Now, God repents that He created humanity, but nevertheless, He shows grace through Noah. So even with God's disappointment in His creation, He still finds a way to show grace to His creation. Now, a question that has been asked repeatedly is the identity of the Nephilim. There is a lot of speculation around the Nephilim. However, we are really interested in reflection today, not speculation. So what do we know about the Nephilim? Well, the term Nephilim is used only twice in the Hebrew Bible, and it is a direct translation from the Hebrew. It comes from the root meaning to fall. So therefore, the word Nephilim literally can mean the fallen ones. This may indicate that the Nephilim were particularly sinful, or if we consider the word more literally, perhaps they had fallen from heaven. It is also interesting that the Nephilim are mentioned before and after the Great Flood. We find them here in Genesis 6 and again in Numbers 13 when the Israelites are going into the Promised Land. Now in the New Testament and the Apocrypha, we find references to angels who were once in heaven but rebelled against God. As a result, they were kept in eternal chains where they await judgment. Some have suggested that these are the Nephilim. Now outside the Bible, we also find reference to the Nephilim in the pseudepigrapha, particularly 1 Enoch chapter 6. Now 1 Enoch was primarily used by the Ethiopian church. However, in the end, the most likely interpretation, based on the Hebrew text and other Jewish writings, is that the Nephilim were the product of an unholy union between renegade angels and humans. How and when this happened, or other details, remain unknown. All we really know is that these Nephilim were on the earth before the flood and after. Beyond that, we venture into pure speculation, which is not particularly helpful. In the Wisdom of Sirach chapter 3, there is a verse that I wanted to share with you today. Verse 25 says, "Without eyes there is no light. Without knowledge there is no wisdom." What struck me here was that even without eyes, light is still present. In Genesis 1, God said, "Let there be light," and behold, there was light. However, if my eyes are not open, I cannot see the light. Nevertheless, the light is still there. Therefore, if either by choice or by my situation I do not observe the light, the problem is with me, not the light. In the same way, God defines wisdom. God creates wisdom as He created light. However, if we do not reflect on wisdom or seek wisdom, if we do not make the effort to study or to grow in wisdom, we will not find wisdom. Yet wisdom is still there and available. In a sense, if our eyes are closed through indifference, choice, or simply being stubborn, we are the ones who choose not to see the wisdom that God has revealed to His creation. And choosing to stay in the darkness will never lead us to the light. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, stay on the trail.